everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, and today we're going to be talking more comics, and you've clicked on it so you already know what we're talking about. And unlike my East of West review that I just put up, we are actually going to be talking about multiple issues. In fact, just going back to that, I think I'm going to be talking about East of West, each individual issue, and just take as long as I want because the series is over. And it's just going to be something fun that I get to do. In this case, we're going to be talking about Middlewest. Now, Middlewest is still going, and the latest issue, I believe issue like 14 or 15, is about to come out this next week. So this is going to be more like a catch-up. So we are going to actually talking about issues 1, 2, and 3 for this beginning of the to play catch-up, to get people on board with this book. This fantastic book that I was a little confused about because I thought it was Skottie Young writing and drawing, which is what I really like is that Skottie Young is the guy who does, well, let me show you. Alright, yeah, Skottie Young, he does a lot of these cool covers. These are for House of X and Powers of 10. I really dig them. I do. I think they're really cool. I love this one, both of these especially, Warlock and Cypher and Mr. Sinister. So I thought, oh, because it makes me think of Calvin and Hobbes for some reason. So I thought he was doing the art and the writing on this book. Especially, and even when I opened it up for the first time, I thought, oh, okay, I'm right. But I wasn't. But it's good. It's fine. What's even more impressive is he's writing this book, and Jorge Corona is drawing it. And the art in this book is fantastic. But one thing about how I do my videos is a lot of times when you're improvising, you forget to talk about things. And one of the things I forgot to talk about when I was doing my East of West video was one of the reasons why I talked about why I stopped. But I didn't talk about what in the end made me go, okay, time to get back on the horse and stop feeling bad that your videos don't get that many views. And what did that? And it's the strangest thing. There's a few aspects, some more personal than others. Certain things that I needed to work out with for myself that were personally affecting my ability to make content. One was my job. My job was making it. I'm not very happy when I come home from work, and so you're in that negative mindset, and so. Or at least I was, I don't know if anybody else experiences this when you get home from a job that you don't, you're fine, the job is fine, it's all the bullshit that comes with it. So I come home with this negative attitude, which in turn affects how I do things and how I think about my content. And then another was kind of a girl guy thing, okay? It was I was hung up on some romantic type stuff, and that was messing with my head. But the thing that got me back to thinking about and stop feeling sorry for myself was there's a channel on YouTube called SBSK. It's Special Books for Special Kids. And on this channel, they show you people with disabilities, deformities, injuries that make them way different than us as far as appearances go, and how things are just skin deep. They're people, they're humans like us, and they're suffering. They don't see it like that, okay? But as a normal person, that's the worst word I could have used, as a regular looking person who has not afflicted with any of these problems, who's been blessed to not suffer from any kind of affliction or disease or accident, and hearing these people's stories and how positive they are and how happy they are, and while I'm sure that not all of this is, like they suffer and feel bad like regular people, watching them and listening to them and seeing things through their eyes made me realize I'm being a fucking baby. If you have not checked out SBSK, Special Books for Special Kids, if you need to, I shouldn't say feel better like about yourself, but I mean I think of it as It was uplifting and positive and made me realize how lucky we all are to be able to live the lives that we have, and how lucky we are to be able to do what we want to do, even at this level. And that if only 10 people watch this video, it's still better than nothing. And I needed to get over that. And seeing that these people are able to carry on with their lives with all the disadvantages that come with having those problems, what the hell am I worried about? Why am I not talking about the things that I love because of surface level stuff? So we're here, we're back again. I wanted to get that part of the story out because I like I said, when you improvise, you can be really spontaneous and you can be funny and entertaining and say things that you don't know you're going to say. But at the same time, you can also forget things without notes. And so with that being said, and I know I'm a talker, once I get talking, it's easy for me to get sidetracked. But we're back in the space. We got, I put in a few more comics just so I can actually look like, that I have more things up here. I put a little light in so you can kind of see them a little better. Because I live in kind of a closed-in space, so it's like, it's hard to get natural light in here. But, yeah. So let's get to talking about this fantastic book, this kind of return to Oz, this like very Wizard of Oz feeling book called Middlewest by Skottie Young and Jorge Corona. I'm just going to say it right now. I can't recommend this book highly enough. Just like East of West, this is a fantastic book. And one of the reasons why, as I started reading it, right from issue 1, what drew me in was the story and the relationship between Abel and his father Dale. This is not a good relationship. This is a very bad relationship. Also, the mother in the story is gone. She's abandoned him. And this is a story that hits home for me very, very, very hard. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear I was writing it. Because my mother left me when I was 12. And she just abandoned me and my sisters. And we ended up living, me and one of my sisters ended up living in a trailer park with her parents. And my youngest sister, she stayed behind with our adopted father, her real father, here where I live now. And my adopted father, he and I have a contentious history. We have tried over the years, including now, and things aren't always the best. But there was a lot of abuse, mental and physical, as I grew up. And there's a lot of correlations to what Abel is going through in this story to what I went through as a child, and how my life, it very much reflects a lot of how I feel about what I went through as a kid. And so I very much appreciate this story on a level that maybe not a lot of people understand. But if you've gone through something similar, I can see this book hitting home with a lot of people. But then you add in this very fanciful Wizard of Oz-esque. It's like partially grounded in reality, partially very fantastic. And again, I can't recommend this book highly enough. But the art in this and the writing are fantastic. And we start in this place where he's dreaming. I mean, look at this first, look at that. I always got to do this better, learn to do this better, but he's dreaming that, it's just the greatest little lines here. The Middlewest. The wind is violent here. I hate it. Sometimes I feel like it hates me. Sometimes I think it's going to pick me up and blow me away. And he's dreaming, but he's talking about, in the end, the wind is his father, and how it hates him, and how he thinks it's probably maybe going to kill him. And we are not, it goes right into this abusive relationship that he has with his father. Yeah, he forgot to take out the newspapers he's got a paper route that he forgot to do. Paper routes. Remember when that was a thing? Um, and so he's threatening him, and he's behind, and it's a very, very, right from get go. You can see this is a bad father son relationship, bad, and there's no mother involved. Now, what starts to make this fantastical right off the bat, besides the dream, but dreams are dreams, is there's a talking fox, which I also like. He's kind of like the Toto slash Jiminy Cricket, you know, of this story, but also kind of like, I don't know, he's got the sarcastic tone, so I like that. I'm trying to think of who that would comparatively be. It's almost like having a Rick. The way he talks is kind of makes me think of Rick from Rick and Morty a little bit, um, or I don't know. I don't know. It'll come to me. Somebody else will probably say, but like, he tries to deliver the papers, and the papers blow away, and things aren't going right for this kid. And he meets up with some other kids. Like these shifty kids that he knows that they go to a store, and they convince him to shoplift for them, and he gets caught. And everybody else is fine, but him. He's, like the one kid's like, well, he called their parents instead of the sheriff, so that's good, right? But, you know, the one guy's like, oh, well, my mom's at her boyfriend's sister will cover for me, you know, but poor Abel has his dad. But he also doesn't like a lot of kids would, and that may be the only bullcrap in here is that the kid says, well, it's not, nobody twisted my arm, right? It's not your fault. Uh, as most kids would be, they're like, you fucking, I wouldn't have done this if you didn't talk me into it, kind of thing. But his dad arrives, and it's just the look on his face here, right here. Basically, get in the car. And he gets him home and tells him that he has to sleep outside. And I'm gonna say this because it's impactful. This part. Where do you think you're going? Inside. Inside? Go to bed? No, you're not. You're sleeping out here. What do you mean? I mean, if you think you're a big man that can do what he wants, when he wants, a big man that can take care of himself, Dad, you just shrug off your responsibilities, and when I tell you to come home, you decide to do your own thing. Run around town with your loser friends, and then get caught shoplifting. You're telling me you're a big man now? You clearly don't need me or the roof I put over your head, so you can just stay out here, big man. And he goes to leave, and he says to his dad, this is why Mom left you. And then it gets real dark. You're pathetic. You think she left me? Your mom and me were good. She loved me. She was. We were fun. But then you came along and she realized she wasn't cut out for the whole parenting thing. It was too much. What are you saying? I'm saying that your mom didn't leave me, Abel. She left you. And he says, fuck you. What did you say, big man? I couldn't hear you. I asked you a question, big man. Fuck you. I still didn't hear you. One more time, big man. I said, fuck you. That's what I thought you said. And he smacks him. He smacks him. And all of a sudden, his father turns into the nightmare from his dreams. Because he says, does that make you feel like a big man? And suddenly he turns into this giant tornado, just like the dream. And he tries to run. He's yelling for his son, Abel! And they get on top of this train, but then he touches him with the tip of the wind and marks him with whatever turned him into this is now marked the kid as well. And so They run, and they're left with this town's a disaster. It's all been destroyed where he lived in this trailer park, which also made me think of my life. And he says, the wind is so violent here, I hate it. Sometimes I feel like it hates me, like it might just pick me up and blow me away. I'm like, holy shit, that's powerful stuff. And like I said, because of my own story, it hits me really hard. And with number two, we jump right in to, it gets fanciful right away. This is where we enter this like kind of fairy tale Oz-like world where on the train they run into this like crow guy and another, they're like hunters. One of his name is Caw, and they try to eat him, and they get on top of the train, and this is where we're introduced to this like wizard character who defends the kid, tells him, you're not supposed to be using these trains for hunting and everything, and they're like, well, screw you, we're gonna eat, and they knock him off. So this wizard comes to his defense and tells him, hey, you're injured. They got to look at the thing that's on his chest where the wind hit him. And so they go on this like journey towards the wizard's house. And he starts to show the kid that there's like more than meets the eye in the world. He makes noises, and then these like weird looking rabbit things kind of come out, like rabbit, hamster, gerbil, whatever things come out of the ground. And so we start to see the world building. He comes back to his house, and again, like, look at this splash page. It's like, this is his home. And it's made out of all the junk that he finds in the Middlewest. And that there's like more to this, that this guy isn't just there. He wasn't just happening to be, strolling by, because they talk about fixing him, but they can't just figure it out. They don't really know. But it's like that he knows more than he's letting on. And so when he gets angry, you start to see that when Abel gets angry, the thing on his chest starts to like flare up. Because he's like, so your dad, I'm guessing he didn't send you on this journey. I'm not sure how to answer that. Well, I know he has to be concerned about you. Stop it. You don't know anything. Will you just fix my chest and quit talking about my dad? And it's like, that's as soon as he gets stressed out and starts talking about his dad, that's when the power or whatever is inside him starts to flare up. So he decides, to leave. He's like, he's going to sleep it off, but he doesn't plan on sleeping. He plans on just bailing and finding his own answers, because this guy knows something, and he doesn't want to wait to find out. He's going to go find his own answers. And so then you get the wizard talking to this like crow that talks. He's like, do you think she would be willing to help the boy? Maybe, but only if she doesn't think it was that you sent him. It's been 22 years since Gibson City. Surely has let that go. Okay, maybe she hasn't. So they go to find this lady. They were talking about Magnolia, this like seer, gypsy looking thing. And I'm sure it's more than that. It's just kind of a ad that she's part of like a traveling show. And they're going to go... He was going to take him there to find answers about his problem. But he doesn't know that the kid's bailing. And so the kid, though, he kind of was spying, and he grabs the piece of paper, and now he has like a place to start. And so that's the end of issue number 2. Now, issue number 3, like, it goes back to the father. We find out what happened to him. Like, this wasn't a dream. This really happened. And he's... Abel's trying to figure out like what happened, like thinking about his dad and all that stuff, and is he alive, and is he normal, is everything back to normal? Well, he returns to the town, oops, wrong way, where it's all just devastation, where what he caused, what their fight and anger caused is leveled the town. It's leveled several towns. And he's looking for his son now. And it's really scary, because it's like you don't really want him to find his son. But he passes out and wakes up in the hospital, and he's just like, he's asking for his son still, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want this guy to find his son. Because while you might, on the surface level, you might think, well, oh, this was a big fight and they didn't mean to fight it with each other, but I'm sorry, as soon as he hit him, I was like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, why does he really want to find his son? Is he really going to apologize? Or is this anger still going to be like, you did this, you caused this? Like, maybe he just wants to know, like, what did you do to me? That's my first instinct. Because of coming from my own background, I automatically go to, what's the worst possible scenario? Like, I don't think, like, he's going to find him to help or feel bad. Because I just haven't really experienced that myself. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who have cracked their kids around and felt terrible about it afterwards. And sorry, it's a really emotional story to talk about. Well, he goes to find him, and they're trying to talk to him about the storm, almost in a way of like, we know you were the storm, but they're not coming out and saying it. It's like this cop. Because she even says, you know the damage these twisters are capable of. It leveled the south end of town. 10 others were lost. You need to accept this, Dale. He's just a boy. In that storm, it was too much. He doesn't stand a chance out there. So, but it's just the looks on his face still. Like this look of like just kind of, nobody tells me nothing. Like throughout the whole thing, he just has this, like, every time you see his face, it is just this look of kind of that stoic, hard, nobody tells me. Meanwhile, Abel finds this bridge, and the fox is like, well, you know what's inside bridges, right? Trolls. And we're introduced to this troll. Well, we get, I don't know if it's got too much of an introduction, but this new wrinkle for them in the way of their journey is this troll who wants him to answer a riddle. And I was actually curious to find out if I would know the answer to the riddle, and I did. It was the wind. But it's too late, and he goes to attack him. He locks him in. It was actually a smart plan because trolls apparently turn to stone when the sunlight hits them, but he had a plan for that, and like shutters on both sides of the bridge so to come down so he can't escape. But when he tries to attack him, the power comes out of his chest and blows the entire bridge out so that the sun hits him and turns him into stone. Again, the art is so good. I am just so... It's so great when you get good writing and great art. It just makes the book so much better. I know that's like stupid, right? That's stupid to say, but I mean, it just doesn't happen very often. A lot of times I'll get great art and bad story, or great writing and terrible art. Just look at X-Men right now. Like, or... what's the other, like some of the other, like Fallen Angels, Fallen Angels. Great writing for some of the part, you know, especially in Fallen Angels, but their art is so fucking bad. But they escape the troll, and they end up back to where they need to, they end up finding the traveling show where the Hearst family is, and he's hoping that there he can find some answers and find this lady and start to figure things out on this fanciful journey that they're on that has got me hooked from jump. And again, like I said, a lot of this has to do with the fact that this story hits me on a personal level. And I think it probably hits a lot of people that read this book on a personal level. And if you haven't read this book and you want, and it doesn't make me feel bad about my life. It just makes me happy that somebody's writing a story that has these elements that can connect with people that have. And I think that the more you can like take a fanciful story and ground it in stuff that people can understand and have experienced, you then can accept all the other stuff as well to go along with it. And I find that awesome. And so that's the first 3 issues of Middlewest. We'll be back talking about the next 3 in probably another week or so. It depends on how much I can get done with my life and stuff. Because I'm still trying to get back to regularly scheduled programming that I have not been to in a few weeks now on my channel. For anybody that watches this and does watch my channel regularly, this week we are going back to The Expanse and finishing the back half of Season 4 this week. So anyway, but that being said, if you liked this review, please hit the like button. comment, share, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. You can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. If you feel so inclined, you can donate to my channel at ko-fi.com/smirkinggunreviews. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I feel like this one was way better than my East and West video, and I think that once you get, back on the horse, each video gets a little bit easier and easier to do. So, this is Rob saying have a great day, read Middlewest, keep reading comics, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.